Dan Lozzi. My name is Joshua. I was going to do a little interview here. All right. Hey Dan, how long have you been straight edge or vegan for?
I've been straight edge. I went straight edge when I was 14.
Right.
Previous to that, there was one time me and a couple friends found some cigarettes on the side of the road and we tried them. We thought it was funny. I determined it was lame and it didn't really do much for me. But by the time I was 14, I went straight edge, and I never even tasted alcohol before. Never had a beer in my life. And did you ask me how long I've been vegan too?
Correct.
Yeah. Vegan. I think. I think I'm going on 12 years now. Being vegan.
Nice. Yeah. All right. First, I'm gonna start off real quick. Like, what are your views on like how straight edge is like viewed like poorly nowadays?
Yeah. Well, I think it's like anything else. I think a few people ruin it for everyone else,
right.
Obviously. And I do my own thing. I don't let any type of trends or whatever people have influence on me. I know what I'm about. It's a shame. I mean, overall, I think it's the most effective weapon to keep kids off drugs.
Yeah.
You got the DARE program. I think that's for little kids. It's great that they have that. I know people mean well, but when you get older, you got to move on to something else.
Right. Well, touch base on that real quick too. Like, what do you feel about like a lot of the straight edge kids that are very pushy with their beliefs?
Right. kids
Like, you hear stories about straight edge kids beating people up because they're not straight edge.
Right.
And to me, that's complete bullshit.
Right.
No one should force their beliefs upon anyone for no reason at all. That just gives our views a very bad name.
I'll tell you what, dude. And again, I can't put everyone in the same category, but I'm just going to tell you what I've seen. It almost right down the line, it always seems to me that the people, like, it's like we were talking earlier, what Rick said about me.
Yeah.
He says, Dan, there's two types of straight edge people. The ones that got into it probably because of hardcore, and then there's a second kind, the ones that got straight edge because when everyone was having the party out in the woods in high school, drinking, they didn't get invited to the party.
Yeah.
Rick says, that's you, Dan. You're the kid who didn't get invited to the party.
Yeah.
That's why you're straight edge. I think that, and he's right, I think that, although there wasn't actually like any one party or an incident, but
Correct.
In general, I think, right down the line, it just seems to me like kids get into it. Like, I was into the concept of straight edge before I was even straight edge.
Same with me.
My buddy Charlie told me, hey man, you're straight edge, when we were really young. And it was like a part of me already in my belief system. And I think someone who just drops everything and becomes straight edge because it was like they got swept up in the idea immediately.
Yeah.
Those tend to be the ones that not only are the most forceful about it and get swept up in the whole gang mentality, they're also the most likely to break edge.
All right.
Like I said, the ones I see that are the most aggressive, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of times the ones that are the most aggressive about pushing the message, you see them 2 years later, they're not straight edge anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll be straight edge when I'm 101 years old walking with a crane.
Same with me.
I'll still be straight edge.
For myself, as I throw this in there because we're on the topic, I've been straight edge going on 10 years as of December 17th this year.
Okay, cool.
And I was dumb. I drank.
Right.
I did some drugs when I was younger.
Right.
I learned my lesson. I got out of it because it wasn't for me. I wanted to be a more positive person, and straight edge was the only way to go. And I don't force my beliefs upon anyone because I don't like when people do it to me, so I wouldn't do it to anyone else.
Right.
All right, well, next question. What are your views on, like, caffeine and stuff like that, coffee? And because I know a lot of people say, well, if you drink tea or coffee, you're not straight edge.
Right.
Well, how do you view that?
I got a lot to say about it. It's funny, and as I was telling you earlier, every time I'm in a room with Derek from Represent, this conversation always comes up.
Does he eat all your Hot Pockets like you did me?
I never fed him Hot Pockets, but no, we've never talked about Hot Pockets, but I'm usually the one, like, me and him have had long conversations about soda and caffeine and stuff, and shared our beliefs and my personal beliefs. I'm not going to speak for him because he's not here, but listen, man, it's like with that. I saw a clip of an Ian McKay interview where this is the guy who invented straight edge, and he shows up with an iced tea, and the kid's yelling at him like, "What are you doing drinking iced tea? That's not straight edge." And Ian's like, "Dude, get away from me! Like, don't tell me what's." Dude, I'm like I said, I'm straight edge for life. I can't stand the alcohol industry, the drug industry, the whole thing. I think marijuana money ends up going to getting people's heads chopped off down in Mexico. I boycott all of it, okay?
Same.
And dude, here's what I think. I have a soda once in a while. I've always been the designated driver. I've got so many friends that drink, and I've got them home alive so many times.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, when I'm at a bar speaking, a lot of times I don't like water. I gotta have a soda. Sometimes I'll drink a cranberry juice. Sometimes, I like orange soda. There's no caffeine in that, supposedly. Once in a while, I'll have a soda with the caffeine. Or maybe there's not caffeine in it. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah,
I need a soda, right? And most straight edge kids I know are like that. Dude, I don't drink coffee. I don't care if people do. If they're straight edge and they drink coffee. Dude, my issue is not the caffeine. There's a difference between drinking a soda and a person who cannot get through the day without a coffee. And that's scary to me. People who just can't function without a damn coffee. And so right, yeah. So to me, that's the bigger problem. Did you ask me about energy drinks yet?
No, yeah.
Because we had talked about that. We said we wanted to discuss
like energy
that.
drinks and along the same topic of energy, a lot of medications also.
Right, medication, energy. It's all, listen, medication. Again, dude, the medication is for people who are legitimately sick.
Yeah.
We live in the Tylenol nation. People just eat Tylenol like they're Skittles, Yeah. I'm against that. If someone's sick, obviously they're going to take medicine. Energy drinks, dude, listen, man, like, I'm wired 24 hours a day. I don't need an energy drink to get me going. I go outside and what I see just blows my mind, the way people treat each other, the pain we inflict on each other, and that's enough motivation for me. Dude, if you're down in energy drinks all day and like going nuts on this stuff, again, it's like, I don't touch the stuff. I've never had an energy drink. It looks like it would, I don't know what the appeal is. You look in the mirror, dude. Do you think having 10 energy drinks from the time you get up to the time you go to bed, you tell me. That doesn't sound straight edge to me. Other people might have opinions, but, I think people know. I don't think they need me to tell them if they're doing something that isn't really true to the logic of straight edge, Again, dude, I'm not judging. People can do whatever they want. They can drink energy drinks. They can take a million pills. It's like, do you think that's straight edge? I don't. I don't think a lot of straight edge kids would agree with that. That's my opinion on that.
That's true. All right, another question. How do you feel about the use of steroids in the straight edge community?
Again,
to me, that's completely asinine because steroids are illegal.
We can argue about this and we can debate it, but it's like when you think of straight edge, you think of doing steroids. I don't.
I think when I think of straight edge, I think of keeping your body as pure as possible.
It's like you said. It's not just not doing drugs. It's like taking care of yourself and being true to this ideology.
Exactly.
That's kind of where I stand on that.
Well, steroids kind of go hand in hand with the treatment of women.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah.
So. Well, because I know you're very big on human rights and whatnot.
Right.
And the proper treatment of all humans and animals.
Right.
So,
girls, babies, whatever,
So treatment of women, let's talk about that for a little bit.
I think, listen, man, listen, man, my understanding of straight edge, a big part of it was not abusing girls. Mm-hmm. And when I say not abusing girls, dude, going to a party, tricking a girl into bed after 5 minutes, that's abuse. And I know the argument, if she's that type of girl, that's her own fault. Well, come on, man. The guy's supposed to know too. It takes two to tango. That doesn't make it right. Dude, I've never in my life ever had a one-night stand. Done any type of casual thing with a girl I just met. Anything I've ever done with any girls in my life, love, emotion, sex, everything, I mean, dude, the number of girlfriends I've had you could drop a thumb off and I could probably still count them on one hand. I mean, dude, I probably had like 2 serious girlfriends my entire life.
Right.
One I was with like a year and a half, the other one 8 months, at least 8 months. I mean, you know, pretty long relationships. For me, you know, dude, I don't think going around using girls for sex, lying to them, you know, getting them drunk, and I've never gone out with a straight edge girl in my life.
Yeah.
Every girl I've ever, you know, done anything with, they weren't straight edge. I don't have I don't think you have to be with straight edge girls, but I also think I don't buy alcohol for anybody. I would never get a girl drunk to get her in bed. I just don't do it. I think it's wrong. I think it goes against what straight edge is about.
Yeah, I was about to answer that too.
Yeah.
All right. So another question: how do you treat people that aren't straight edge? I think we kind of.
Dude, listen, man. I think there's been a gap, especially out here in Massachusetts. Well, I'm just only talking about Massachusetts. You know, bands like Have Hot have broken up. The old days when there were a lot of, you know, straight edge dudes in FSU that, you know, we looked up to, that we had as straight edge role models that, you know, maybe don't live here anymore, they lay low or whatever. And I think there's been a gap, and there hasn't been a lot of that type of leadership. The reason I'm bringing that up is because, therefore, me coming up in this scene, I'll be honest with you, dude, I didn't hang out with a lot of straight edge kids growing up.
Me neither.
I don't now. Most of my friends drink and do drugs. You asked me about, you know, me and Rick's friendship. I mean, people will see, how can Dan be friends with him? Well, dude, you see him. He's like an out front character that people know about.
Definitely.
Dude, I hang out with like 30 Rick Brophies. I mean, I hang out with a lot of people like that.
Right.
You know, dude, I don't judge. I feel like if my friends who drink and do drugs and stuff, I want them to feel like they can hang out with me and talk to me because I'm more benefit. You know, a lot of times people be like, you know, you should speak at the, you know, when I was out in near Utah and everyone wanted me to speak on that show that Greg Bennick was on or whatever with Trial playing. And I kind of look at it like, you guys, you're missing the point. I'd rather speak at the place where I know everyone's doing drugs because I'm more beneficial to that crowd. Maybe I can get them away from that stuff, you know? So that's how I stand on that.
All right. Now, the other thing, people that sell out. And before I answer, I just want to say, because one of my very dear friends that passed away last year, he sold out.
Okay.
And you know what? I don't look down upon him for doing that.
Right.
Because that's his life, his choice. Same thing with a couple of friends of mine. They sold out. It's their life, their choice.
Right.
And do I hate them for it? No. But you got the kids that are straight edge.
Right.
They're the biggest assholes ever.
Right.
Then they sell out.
Which is what I just said earlier in this interview. I mean, is that not exactly what I was describing?
They're at the bar with the people that they're beating up.
Right.
And that confuses the crap out of me.
Right.
Like, as far as like people that sell out, I mean, it's a personal choice. It's personal choice.
Right.
I mean, what are your views on all that?
Again, I quote Derek a lot because, I mean, me and him have just had this conversation like in great depth. I love talking about this stuff with him.
He's the singer for Represent, right?
Yeah, okay. and me and him have also talked about this at great length. And again, I'm not going to speak for him, but I'll speak for myself, but me and him talk a lot. Dude, there's certain people, I know Derek's one of them, and I'm definitely one of them. Dude, the thought of ditching my breaking edge just would never occur to me. Again, dude, it's rooted in me. I have no desire to do that type of thing. Okay,
exactly.
I think like it's very easy to be straight edge. Now, people who break edge, again, I get the sense that like maybe they got into straight edge for the wrong reasons, or they didn't understand that this is for life. Right now, I don't hold it against them. There've been times where people broke edge, and I stayed friends with them. I had to tell the other straight edge dudes, like, you know, back off that kid. He didn't.
Yeah.
You know, I listen, man. I think if you break edge, I think it can be embarrassing, and that's enough punishment. You know, like you really need me like yelling at you on top of that. I think when you hear some of the older guys that have been straight edge a long time being stressed out about this, dude, those are select situations where it might have been like deep rooted, like, you know, we were brothers, we've been straight edge forever, now you broke edge. I don't think that's like the typical straight edge situation.
No.
Dude, you know, people come and go. I know so many people that have broken edge, and I don't, I treat them the same way I would treat someone that was never straight edge at all. Dude, I just feel like it's embarrassment enough. I've had people that were like afraid to tell me they broke edge, like really scared to tell me. And they tiptoed around me like, dude, listen, they sit me down. Like, dude, I ain't straight edge no more. Like, and they thought I was going to get mad at them. And I'm like, dude, I don't, whatever. Like,
yeah, same thing's happening to me.
It's more detrimental to yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to drink that stuff, go ahead. I smoke or whatever.
It's the thought of selling
I still
out
ain't
for me,
touching it. Yeah, I just could never do it, dude. I'll never sell out. I'll be straight edge my entire life.
Same with me. I saw too many people go down the wrong path, and so many people lose a lot to drug addiction, alcohol abuse.
Right. Well, it's rooted in your mind since the day you're born. You must have this. It is stapled into the mentality of Americans.
Exactly.
A beer must be in your hand. You must have alcohol in your hand. You gotta watch the game and have a beer. So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, same thing with vegans too.
Right.
People that are all about animal rights and whatnot, that are vegan and whatnot, and they decide one day, I want to eat a cheeseburger.
Right.
It's the same as I think as selling out straight edge.
And being a vegan is it's difficult. It's not easy stuff,
I'm not vegan, but
but dude, even being a vegetarian or being a part-time vegetarian, that helps a lot. If everybody at least just cut back, or maybe said, I'll only go to McDonald's, once a month or something. I mean, it really does help,
Yeah.
I mean, what is it? Like the average, I read a statistic once. Every human eats from the time they're born to when they die. They eat an equivalent of like 100 animals. It's something crazy like that.
I know.
So it helps.
All right. Well, the last question I'm going to ask, I know it's one of those subjects that's always touchy. Because I remember used to seeing tables all the time at shows, along with the vegan tables, animal rights tables.
Right.
It's very weird as you go to a show.
Right.
As you hear someone speak about anything, as you promote something more positive than tell people to mosh on each other. Anyways. All right, so what are your views on abortion? I'm not going to give my opinion on it because I'll let you answer this.
Cool. Yeah, I think most people who were at one time against abortion in the straight edge scene have been intimidated into not saying anything about it and frightened and scared, and I don't blame them. Yeah, I said it in Syracuse at that time. At one time, being against abortion was a big part of, I wouldn't even say straight edge, I'd say like the vegan part of it. Here's my views on it. I mean, I've got a lot to say. I could talk for a long time about it, but I'll try to sum it up here. There's a split in this country between left and right wing, and the split itself is absolutely absurd. It makes no sense. For example, I'm the Christian, Jesus, help the poor, love everybody, but I hate gays. I mean, that's stupid, okay, to me? Yeah. And then you get the other end of it. I'm the liberal left wing, save the animals.
Yeah.
Save the animals. Save the trees. Everything is a life. I'm watering my flowers and I'm talking to them. Stop domestic violence, stop child abuse, stop rape, stop all this stuff. But unborn babies, we can't go near that. You talk about being against abortion, you're a scumbag. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Okay, what I think is this, dude. I'm not going to play that game, first of all. Okay? Yeah. People look at me like, how can you be this like women's rights, feminist activist, Jackson Cat style public speaker, speaking against rape and domestic violence, and you're against abortion too? Well, there's two reasons. Number one, I think it's all stupid. I'm not going to pick and choose. I think raping someone, using them, abusing them, getting them drunk for sex, getting someone pregnant and then saying, well, you're on your own now, I don't want the baby, is just as ignorant and useless and of no purpose to me as abortion. Correct. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think they're all harmful. I think, so there's two reasons. Reason number two, I mean, how am I I'm gonna save all these things, animals and all this stuff, and just kind of ignore the abortion thing? I think people are severely miseducated on the abortion situation. All I hear about is rape. What about rape? What about rape? Well, we've had about 55 million abortions in this country since 1973. 1% of those abortions, rape and incest combined, make about 1%. Mm-hmm. Now, everybody I know, even the people who are pro-abortion rights, who disagree with me, first thing they say is, what about rape? And I tell them that statistic, and they're like, really? I go, well, shouldn't you know that before you start throwing stones at me? They get into like, well, I don't think it should be used as birth control. Well, if it's not being used as birth control, then what? Explain this to me.
Exactly.
You know, my point being is, dude, a lot of these are pro-choice views. I'm going on what the pro-choice is saying. Okay, you think it should only be for rape? It shouldn't be used as birth control? Well, those numbers are kind of not really helping your cause, you know?
Oh, exactly.
The other thing I just totally resent is, you know, I've had people tell me that I'm teaching the young girls in my audience hate. I mean, come on, man. Like, dude, I'll wrap it. I've never once, you know, ever judged a girl who's had an abortion or been raped or anything like that. If anything, I've been the only one who stayed friends with them when everyone else was giving my pro-choice friends was saying, screw you, you're a whore. And I was the only one protecting those girls. So my views on abortion means I hate women. Come on, that's propaganda.
Oh, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But,
I mean, that's pretty much sums it up because you only have like a couple seconds left.
Right.
Well, all right. Well, that sums up this interview. I'm sure we're going to come up with more.
Yeah, hopefully one. I'd love to come out to Syracuse again. Definitely. We'll make that happen again sometime. Thanks, Josh. It's been a pleasure.
Definitely.